Do you like cheap builds that clear tier 5 maps? Do you like one button builds? And do you like builds that mount bosses and also clear very easily? In this Path of Exile 2 guide, I'm going to show you the exact build that I've been using. This is smashing tier 15 maps with ease. We are smashing bosses with ease. We are clearing the maps no problem. It's given you all that eye candy from all the explosions. And best of all, this build did not cost me much at all to build. All right, guys, so I have some more gameplay at the end of this tutorial. Let's get into how this build works, and then we'll go over everything that you need to know with this build. So first of all, the way you play this build is very simple. We're going to be using these mortar cannons, and these are totems as well, so they're classed as totems. And what these do is these shoot out our grenades. So basically it's a hands-off skill. We don't really have to do much. And then we have these as well for damage, which are our bombs. And then we have some really fast shots here, and I'll explain to you exactly why we have this set up. So let's go over the skills first, because that's kind of the most important part here. So with the skills, I'm going to go over what's the main button spammer here. So our main button spammer, the one that we run through the maps, do clearing, is going to be the mortar cannon. And inside the mortar cannon, we have payload, which gives us a chance to activate the grenades a second time. We have cluster grenade, which is you get less damage when it's in the mortar. However, you can pair this with another grenade. Urgent totems. The reason we have this is because it lets us instantly place down the totems. We don't get any speed penalties for that. We have elemental here, some elemental damage, 25%. And then we have the gas grenade. In my old build that I showed, we had the oil grenade. I've changed it to gas just because it's just more damage and not as much stuff all over the screen. You can run the oil grenade or the gas grenade. So this is the one that we're mainly going to be spamming. This is good enough to clear the maps, this mortar cannon. However, we also have the explosive grenade, which is going to be doing way more damage. So this here is, I won't show the damage actually because they're in there, but this here is doing most of the damage. So you can use this also to clear, but we mainly use this for the boss fights. So this is explosive grenade, and we are running the fire penetration. So basically, it will ignore all enemy fire penetration, because this converts 80% of physical damage to fire. So it's mainly fire damage. Now this specific cooldown, so second wind does a couple of things. It makes our cooldowns a little bit faster. However, we get twice as many cooldown uses. So so you'll see in the bottom here, I have 8 uses. If we took this off, we'd only have 4. So this is really good against, well, I found it good against bosses. We also have the elemental damage on this as well. And then we have less detonation time, so they detonate much quicker. And then we also have skills cost less. Now this is for mana control, because you basically need this on this specific build, because it's really the only mana control that I have right now. So those are the skills. And then we have Herd of Ash, and we have Time of Need. In Time of Need, we are running the 30% increased mana regeneration. Sorry, we need that. And then this one here, Cannibalism, which is really good. 3% of maximum life recovered on kill while supported skill is active. This is really good for our health. Before we get into the back into the skill points, let me just explain kind of how this works. So we're going to be throwing these mortars down to clear. When we get to a boss, I do the mortars first, and then I spam these grenades, and then I use this. I use armor-piercing rounds. The reason why is because I forgot to mention that I use armor-piercing rounds with increased attack speed, with more elemental attack damage, and then also this here is a damage one, and then this here is a damage one as well. The reason I do that is because it builds up break armor on the enemy, and this is how you kill bosses much quicker, well, with this build anyway. So we go into the passive tree, and what I've done is we have 2 sets of weapon points that we're using with 2 different weapons. You don't have to. Right here, we've gone for some defenses to increase our armor. We've gone for projectile damage to increase some damage here. We've gone for more defenses. And then I've gone for projectile damage down here as well to go through this link. You could potentially do others. Over here for weapon 1. Now, I'll have the build link below to check all of this out. But we have weapon speed here, because that's really important for this build. We go down here, and we have our weapon 2, which is our totems. our mortars on damage, increased life, increased elemental resistances, more damage reduction, and then more life. We go down this way, and this is where kind of this build shines. We have some armor break stuff here, but this is what works really well. Break 50% of armor on pinning an enemy. So we pin enemies and they can't move, and then we also break their armor at the same time. This is a really good one that works really well for this build. We come down here. This is just two-handed damage. This is a must for this build. This gives you big damage increase. We go down here now, and this is kind of where more stuff comes in. So here we just have some grenade increases. You'll see the green lines. This is weapon 2. And we want to get to grenade skills have 1 extra cooldown use. We also want this one. So I'm not going to go over every node, but I'll go over the ones that are important. Grenade skills fire an additional projectile. Okay, so you want this one as well. Down here, this is just for some movement. Down here is quite important as well. So these are the big damage nodes here. This is for grenade, increased grenade damage, increased grenade damage, reduced grenade detonation time. Here, this is for the other weapon, weapon 1. So this is only going to count towards armor piercing rounds, which I'll show in a second. Increased bow reload speed, increased bow reload speed, increased bow reload speed. This one here is for weapon 2. We've gone damage, so a ballista also counts towards the mortars. We have damage, critical damage, and critical chance. We have, so critical as well, damage, critical chance as well. Down here, we've just gone for some defensive stuff, just to help because I was dying without this sort of stuff here. We go, these are the jewels that I'm using, life regeneration, flammability magnitude, which gives more elemental and stuff. 18% increased totem damage, and then damage penetrates 10% fire resistance. We go down here, we just have some intelligence. So this is just going, these nodes are going to really depend. For this build, you want to have a good balance between, so I put most of it into strength, a little bit into dex, and then a little bit into intelligence. Down here, we have attack speed. This is on weapon 1. We go down here, weapon 1, so this is armor piercing rounds, has all of this stuff. This is just reload speed and damage buffs, so critical stuff. Weapon, this is for both weapons here. We have grenade damage. It's really only counts for the second one though. Down here we have grenade damage. And then here we have more ballista damage. So that's for the mortars. This is just ballista damage. Down here we have projectile speed and damage. Projectile speed counts towards the grenades because it's a projectile skill. Over here, we have this jewel, increased armor, increased mana regen, increased elemental damage, increased attack speed with the crossbow. So those are the skill points. That's it right there. Like I said, I'll leave a link below for that. Now let's go over the gear. First, actually, I'll show you the skill panel real quick. So you'll see that here we have weapon allocated weapon 1, and then here we have weapon allocation 2. You can change it. Now, the reason why I've done that is because the points just work better for this build, but the bows are kind of identical. Now, this bow here cost me a lot of divines. This bow here did not. This bow was like, I think it was under 1 divine for this bow. I can't remember. This was not very expensive. This one was, because this is actually not part of the build. I'm now moving into the next phase of the build. So I actually had 2 bows that were similar to this when I was building this build. So this bow, with the bow, it doesn't, like, these are the stats that you want to go for with these bows, okay? So you want to scale physical damage. So you want to have the grenade skills fire an additional projectile. You want to scale physical damage, fire damage, attack speed's good, and then if you can get levels to all projectile skills, that works as well. Now you'll notice on this bow, I don't have the levels to projectile skills boost. The reason why is because this bow has much more damage even without it. So this is an expensive bow. Like I said, I wasn't running this before for this build. I was running this and another one the same as this. This bow in particular is not part of the cheap version, but you'll see on here we have more, just heaps of physical damage, heaps of critical bonus, attack speed, more fire damage, more physical damage. That's why this is more damage without the other one. But for the budget version, this is what you want to go for. This right here. For the armor, nothing crazy here. We're just stacking armor, life, strength, and then resistances. We are stacking armor, life, resistance, armor again. So armor applies to elemental damage because this gives us a damage boost. This amulet basically is increased mana. So maximum mana, maximum life, and just some attributes, and then fire resistance. This ring is just damage, life, strength. And then we do get a little bit of life per enemy kill, which is also helpful, kind of like lifesteal. This we get some resistance, damage, rarity, dexterity for accuracy. We get some fire resistance, and then we get mana regen, which is important for this build. We are now looking at armor, maximum mana, strength, resistances again. And we get a little bit of like leech. The boots, we are going armor, we're going maximum life, strength, resistance, and movement speed. So that's the build setup right there. That's basically it right there. Now, I don't think I've missed anything, but I will just talk about the pros and cons of this build real quick. The pros, super beginner-friendly build to use. You can run through the maps just spamming your little totems, ballistas. Easy. You can easily just one button this. We also have a big damage booster, which is these grenades right here, the explosive grenades. And this is super easy to just smash bosses. And we have armor piercing if you want to just, like, sometimes I'll just stand in a circle blasting enemies, right? Like, those are the 3 skills we have, but you could use this as a one-button skill and spam it. The downside, well, yeah, so that's one of the positives. Another positive is good damage, etc. Good defenses and cheap. This is very, very cheap. Like, this is not a $500, $600 divine build. The cons of this build, though, is we do use mana. I tend just to spam these, which, as you see, the mana goes down fairly quickly. Then you pair it with this, it's just going to go down. You can manage that by putting these out slower, a little bit slower, like just put 3 out and wait for them to go away. That works really well. But I just use my pots to regen. The next thing is the defenses are really, really good, but I feel like I need to actually now rebuild this and with some kind of shield, energy shield, right? Because running just health and armor is good, but it's not great. So I do sometimes get stuck and get killed, etc. But I do need to work on that. So defenses are really, really good, but they do need a little bit more work. And that's it for the build, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll leave a little bit more gameplay up, and I'll see you then.